Good morning, natural gas. It's Tuesday, July the 21st, 2026. I'm Tim Beggins, president of Elk Trading Company. And for the spot August natural gas contract, we're currently up. We're currently trading at 287, even up 1 penny or 0.35%. And as you can see, we're still well below the 13 and 48 period exponential moving averages. The RSI is going sideways. Why? Well, we've got conflicting signals out there. One, the temperatures are getting a little bit warmer. Two, LNG is improving a little bit. Three, though, unfortunately, storage is going to be expectations right now around plus 35 to plus 37, which is bearish versus last year and the 5-year average. And we've got tropical storm Bertha. That's right. She's going to meander across the Gulf of America here and may dampen demand along this space. Let's take a look at the hourly chart. And as you can see, yesterday, this was the dashed green line, was the 50% between the two pivots. And as you can see, we just couldn't get through it. So what did we do? We waffled higher. Right now, we're at the daily pivot, which comes in at 286.70 right now. Our first resistance, 2903, well above that 294.60. Our first support today, 282.40. So looks like the RSI is turning to the upside. We'd like to see if this market can catch a bid finally before storage comes out on Thursday. Let's take a look at the April through October strip, and that's also catching a bid, up 2.2 cents here to 305.20 right now. The RSI is turning to the upside, so we'd like to see if this rebounds toward the trend line and see if we catch one last bid here before it may roll right back over, depending on Super El Nino. Let's turn to the grid here in ERCOT. And this is some of the bullish news here. Yes, we've got renewables here, about 36,000 and change, but look at the demand here in ERCOT. 88,000 megawatts. That's right, it's huge. This is enormous for this time of year, but let's see what natural gas is doing right now. It is capturing 46.5% of the fuel mix. And where our price is expected to go today, that's right, over $200 per megawatt hour. That's amazing because we've been really stifled here in the $40 for weeks now. So this is, here comes summer. And let's take a look at the national grid. And as you can see, yep, ERCOT right over here, up to about 225. We've already got some movement here in MISO today, getting upwards here around $107 here. And PJM has spiked as well this morning, over $399 right now. So there is the heat, there is the humidity, and we're getting the spikes in electricity prices. So that looks like that's a bid for natural gas. How about the temperature outlook? Well, this is the 8 to 14 day temperature outlook here. This carries us through August the 3rd. And as you can see, it's just near normal up in the mid-Atlantic to New England and parts of the Pacific Northwest. Everything else is slightly above to much above here in the desert Southwest, as well as Western Texas here, New Mexico, and parts of Florida. Let's take a look at the heat indices. And as you can see right now, we've got about 1.6 million people under extreme heat risk here, mainly in Louisiana. That's the heat and humidity. And as you can see going forward, we'll see more of that going on tomorrow, Wednesday. That's extreme heat starts to push into the panhandle of Texas, Oklahoma here. And as you can see right there, not too many people up there. Yes, it's 5.2 million people, mainly though Houston because of the heat and humidity, and Florida right now. And there's Saturday, there's that extreme heat just building up in New Mexico and Western Texas. Sunday, same thing here. And then, of course, going into Monday. So the heat is central to this upper plains as well as Texas and all the way over to Florida. And let's take a look at the weather model here. This is the European AI model here, looking forward from 28th going forward. And again, that cooler weather up in the Great Lakes is containing things right now. Same thing for the mid-Atlantic states, but the heat is really focused in on the south here. That's Texas going into August the 5th. As you can see, this is a fairly conservative model here. Dallas 106, Houston 105, the desert Southwest here upwards of 109. Looks like 103 there for Phoenix and the Central Valley 100 to 101. So let's see if we got some weather in Europe, and it's cooler weather right now. That's good news for France and Germany, but then the heat starts to come back. Again, as we go into August, we've got a warm start for France and Spain. Let's pull it a little further faster here. And as you can see, there's the 31st. There's that heat coming in on the August the 1st, 2nd, and whoops, it keeps going forward. There's the 3rd. So we've got some warmer temperatures coming back in for Europe. And let's turn to the TTF. This is the January contract for the tidal transfer facility, the European natural gas marker. And as you can see, it's up yesterday about 2%. This is for January. Again, we haven't yet eclipsed the spike we had in March the 19th, but we're getting pretty close. How about European storage? Well, it's 54%. And as you can see right now, it really is sitting just above the minimal lows here at 53% for this time of year. So we've got very few months left here in the injection cycle. We've only got really 3 months, 3.5, really, if you want to call it that. That's being a little generous there, but we've got to really push the pedal to the metal here for several countries. How about Asia? Well, Asia is warmer in the Shanghai through Beijing area here as we get late into the forecast period. Right now, we've got some warmer temperatures there for Beijing and Shanghai. The cooler temperatures relative to normal are down in the south. That's unusual. So let's take a look at the LNG. There's nothing loading at Ras Laffan. We've got our 2 ships there for the U.S. Navy sitting in the Strait of Hormuz right now, managing some traffic going through, but we've still got some major congestion. We've still got an ongoing conflict. How about the U.S.? Well, steady as she goes for Cameron LNG, 1.467 out of 1.56. This is really quite steady. And also steady is Freeport. It's really pushing 1.2 yesterday. That's good news there as it undergoes maintenance through the end of August. How about LNG for Creole Trail? This feeds Sabine Pass. There is still open capacity here as they reshuffle some of this supply into Sabine Pass and do some maintenance. So as you can see right now, we've got 369,000 of open capacity there. Same thing over at Corpus Christi. We do have some maintenance coming at the end of August as well for both the Gillis and Sinton compressor stations for both of those facilities for Cheniere. And as you can see right now, we're running 2.41, which is steady as she goes for Corpus Christi as they continue to push on train 7. And here is Venture Global here. This is Calcasieu Pass, still 460,000 open capacity there. And there is a little bit of open capacity for Plaquemines now, running under nameplate capacity at the moment. How about Golden Pass? Well, still in the 300,000 range, still under 50% of train 1 capacity. Let's turn to the U.S. nuclear fleet. We've got 1 gigawatt offline today. That's right, 1 gigawatt. That's good news. The nuclear fleet is absolutely perfectly ready for summer. And let's turn to the tropics. Here's the satellite picture for Bertha. That's right. The system itself is a little bit further to the north here. These are the thunderstorms pushing for the south. And as she moves, she's moving from east to west. Let's take a look at the track. And as you can see, just off of Panama City, Florida right now, pushing over to Mobile, Alabama by Wednesday morning, and then pushing over to New Orleans by Thursday, 1 a.m. So that's unfortunately a dangerous storm for New Orleans and the flooding there. And then it pushes on to Houston here in 1 a.m. on Friday. So this is going to be a windstorm mostly. We'll see if we get any rain out of it here in the Houston area. And here's the Saharan air layer. More and more dust is coming off the continent right now. So let's see if this does anything. But so far, it's been a quiet mid-Atlantic hurricane season. And here is the smoke. That's right. This is the smoke and particulate matter from the Canadian wildfires and the fires over in the Pacific Northwest. As you can see, this has been pushing into the upper plains of the United States, back into the mid-Atlantic and New England area. So this continues as these fires continue to rage. And let's turn to the stocks. These are stocks between $2 and $10 billion, have a high short float, over 10%. And as you can see, it's mostly a sea of green. Things are up, except for Magnolia, down 3.66%. Behind me, CNX is up 1.27%. So recapping again, it for the spot August natural gas contract, we're down just now 4 ticks to 285.60 or 0.14%. Let us know your thoughts in the comment section below. Please hit that like and subscribe button. Thanks for listening. We'll see you tomorrow.